Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marati.
Wow. I think I'm still here.
You're going to cough up the dust.
You can
just
see
got him
me.
out of the attic.
Right. And I'm John Cena Sr.
Wrestling fans, he's the real HBK, the Hey Brother Kid. We're back with a brand new Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays now. Wrestling fans, we warned you this day would come. Unfortunately, we're running out of original episodes of Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty each and every Thursday night at 10 p.m., but we're starting up that Indiegogo. You can help the cause. You can help Marty's show continue each and every week. Nobody does it like Marty. We had an incredible time with him at our 20th anniversary bash, November 13th at Memorial Hall here in Melrose. We want to have the good times keep on rolling, but we can't do it without you. Look for the Indiegogo link in the comment section below or across our website and social media platforms. We have some great perks, great rewards where you can even meet Marty himself. There's nothing like it. Since July of 2020, every week we've brought you the show. We need your help to keep on going. We tell you, without wrestling fans, there is no professional wrestling, and there's no better time to help the cause now. Let's keep Marty rocking each and every Thursday night. Wrestling fans, VIP packages and tickets are on sale now. The Boston Wrestling MWF's Back to the 80s live wrestling event and Legends Fan Fest celebration, Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Meet WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, three-time WWE Tag Team Champions Axe and Smash Demolition, WWE Hall of Famers Tito, Santana, and Cowboy Bob Orton, the Wild Berzerker, Dangerous Danny Davis, and more 80s WWF icons to be announced. Take part in a VIP exclusive Q&A session, a VIP exclusive 80s Legends group photo, an autograph photo fan fest open to all before the superstars of yesterday, today, and tomorrow light up the ring like Times Square on New Year's Eve. Relive your childhood. Get the best seats in the house at bostonwrestling.com now. We'll see you live April the 16th.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
All right, wrestling fans, welcome to another Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. SmackDown is in the can. AEW Rampage is wrapped up, and an unbelievable weekend over in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, to say the least. As the road to WrestleMania continues, we are now, Johnny, 50 days away until we go back to the 80s. Saturday night, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Massachusetts. We're going to have the 8th featured superstar announced this Monday night, right around the time Raw begins. I can't wait to see what you have up your sleeve next. You got some long sleeves over there.
I got a lot of good things coming down.
You got a lot of long sleeves, Johnny.
Yep.
Last week we talked Austin, we talked Shane O'Mac, we talked Cody, we talked Brandy. This week, still much more in the wrestling news mill. I was told by some friends at WWE that beyond the potential, likely, expected in-ring return of Stone Cold in Dallas on April 2nd or 3rd, that they are working on another Austin-level surprise. Who or what do you think could be on the level of Stone Cold Steve Austin having his first match in 19 years?
Male or female?
I'm going to guess male. I don't know if they brought back Wendy Richter, if it would have that much of a... or Alondra Blaze, and according to the Berzerker, her gold-plated nipples. I don't know if it would have that much meaning as Stone Cold.
Wow. I don't know.
Do you think maybe, could you see The Rock coming in maybe to set up next year's WrestleMania with his cousin?
No, because the storyline hasn't even begun yet. You wouldn't want to start it at Mania.
Why not?
Because supposedly this Lesnar, Roman Reigns. Well, you know what? I don't think I'd do it. Reigns walks out the hero, still going to be the tribal chief. Maybe the argument is The Rock is the tribal chief. Who knows? You know what? I just sit back and go, first of all, Austin is on the same level and caliber as as Dwayne Johnson. I don't care
I
what
think to
anybody says.
wrestling fans, he was a bigger star.
Absolutely, because
Merchandise, financially.
Yeah.
Austin was a...
do you know of all the wrestlers, I believe that's the only person that Cena has not outsold in merchandise.
No.
Austin.
You are correct. You
Thank
are
you.
correct about
Thank
that.
you. Because
He
Austin,
did 17 in his best year.
he's the man. He's the man. To me, there's your face of your company. I mean, there's the man. He was
but
great.
they're saying, it's 2 nights. Maybe they feel both nights need a little oomph. Well, who could? I mean, nothing against John, but I don't think him coming back would have that much of an oomph. Do you?
You know what?
I know, it is your child and whatnot, but I mean, he's been around recently. It wouldn't be that much of a surprise.
I don't know the.
It'd be great for the show.
I don't know the answer.
But I wouldn't call it an Austin level surprise.
I think what I'm hearing is that he may not be available for WrestleMania 38. So due to commitments. Now that could be a setup. I will tell you this: when you're looking at, and fans will disagree, but I think Austin and Cena and Rock are probably the 3 main draws right there. So Austin Rock, Austin Cena, I think that would work.
Austin Cena, as far as a match, would be fantastic. But I'm trying to think of what else could be on par with the level of Steve Austin's return, or even close to it, that would have an impact on that event. What about an Undertaker retirement match?
No, I think that
I'm not going to get my wish.
I think the Undertaker's made it very clear. He knows his own capabilities and his own limitations. He was very clear in one of the interviews he did, and I'm proud to have him say what he said. He said, "I'm just not at the caliber that they expected or want anymore." He's a smart man. Why go out and ruin the legacy? They ruined his legacy as soon as he lost at WrestleMania. All right? So
That was the beginning of the end.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
I would still like to see him have an officially announced retirement
You
match.
never see it.
You'll never see it?
Never see it.
He's a little younger than Stone Cold.
I don't think you'll ever see it. I don't think that The Undertaker really wants that, number one.
But really?
I don't
Really?
think he does.
You don't
you know
think
what?
he'd like to have that one more moment in front of actual fans to go out as opposed to a movie set match against AJ Styles?
Do you know what? And I'm going to say this as if it were me. I'm out. I got out. I'm at a happy place where I am. There's no need for this one more match to say goodbye. It's over.
Well, Percy, Paul Bearer, had told me how he kind of wanted to end things, and he never really got that. It came kind of close when he lost to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 33 in Orlando. Maybe that should have been it. Maybe he should have never came back for that Cena altercation the next year in New Orleans.
First of all, The Undertaker never should have lost at WrestleMania. Not once.
Ever. I agree with you,
Not
100%.
once. They destroyed the man. Now, you talk about Saudi Arabia, you talk about Madison Square Garden. Okay, let it roll. But don't do it at the very place that kept him famous. Just don't. I mean, that thing with Lesnar and Taker, I saw him the year after, and I guess I said, "How you doing?" He said, "I'm a lot better than I was at WrestleMania," meaning that he really took a really pretty bad bump. And so things happen in the business, but that was not the time and the place. You know, I guess in professional wrestling, unlike boxing, you can't say, can't compete, no exchange of title. That would have been the way to do it. And then have Lesnar beat him any place else but there. But I don't think Mark is the kind of a guy that sits back and goes, I've got to have that one last glory in the sun.
What if it's not him? He's always said he has a very hard time saying no to Vince McMahon. What if Vince says, we need you to try and come close to filling these stadiums? The tickets aren't selling. You having a retirement match will sell. I guarantee you would sell out whatever night he was on.
Let me tell you, now, folks, I'd buy a ticket to WrestleMania. If Austin,
Not for Austin.
If I would.
Oh, you would?
If Austin and Taker are on that card, I don't care if they're out there throwing cat food to the crowd. I'll be there. I'll be there. That's wrestling.
All right.
That's wrestling. So you know what? You may have hit the nail on the head.
Well, I'm just trying to think of what else there could
But
be.
I don't think, again, how can you put Taker into a position where, I mean, he's slimmed down, he's got muscle, he looks really good, but again,
could he gut out a match like he did with John where he didn't have to take a bump?
I suppose he could, but you got to let it go longer than 2.5 minutes.
Or something like
yeah,
that.
that's the other way to do it.
That's what they used to do with Giant Barber over in All Japan when he started to get old and was limited. You know, they'd get him in there for 1 or 2 spots. The fans were happy to see him, but I think having a retirement match for the man would be great for the fans. I think it'd be great for the show. Would it be great for the Undertaker?
Do you know what I hate about retirement matches? They're never retirement.
No.
So you know what? Something's better left undone. Bring back Taker for that tag match, 6-man, 3-man, 4-man, all for it. Austin the first night, Taker the second night, sold out WrestleMania. I'm there.
Both nights?
Give me the
ticket. You think it sells out?
Give me a ticket. Give me a ticket.
What about, again, I'm trying to think of different thoughts. What if maybe Triple H is in better condition than we were led to believe, and maybe a DX reunion? You think that would be equal to Stone Cold, or have we seen enough of those?
No, you know what?
Enough DX reunion?
Yeah, I think that's no.
We've been there and done that with DX.
And again, you know, Taker said it the right way, and I'm going to use this analogy. You walk into Barnes & Noble, you look at the book, wow, what a cover. You flip it over, got a great prelude. Man, I'm buying this book. You open it up, it's shit. It's lousy. So just because the cover looks good doesn't mean the inside is any worse. And that's why I use this analogy. Here I go digressing, but that's why I use this analogy with people. He's too fat, he's too skinny, she's too ugly. You know what? It's not what's on the outside, it's what's on the inside. We all fail to look at that. And people need to do that in this business. Taker has realized, Austin is saying, you know what? It's time for the younger guys to step up to the plate. Why? And I ask you this question. You know, when I look at the card for Mania, and I don't think it's finished yet, why are there more older guys on that card than there are the up-and-coming superstars? Why?
Because they've done a poor job making stars over the past
That's exactly
20 years.
right. And the new guys can't draw a nickel. They can't draw because they have shitty storylines. I mean, who have you got that can draw? Maybe Reigns. Ray Mysterio, maybe. I'm doing a maybe here now, right? But then when you look at the rest of the talent, who would you pay? Lashley. I like Lashley. Brock Lesnar, always a draw. But then who else do you have?
You got Slim Pickens. That's
but
why
that guy used to do the advertisement for Pepperidge Farm.
That's why you have MSG doing its lowest attended event in 80 years. Because of what they have right now. And boy, if they loaded up on their March 5th event to try and prevent that from happening again. But nonetheless, I don't think Cody Rhodes would be equal to an Austin level surprise. What about Nate? Do you think he's got one more left? I think he thinks he probably does, but I don't think he could pass the physical at this point.
Woo!
Again,
I work with Ric Flair. You couldn't ask for a better human being. What a gentleman.
Oh,
really.
I don't know.
Well, but you know what? I see the side that I want to see. Yeah. I don't have a tendency to dig the way you do, and I mean, I can only go by. He's a great.
History. I think.
Well,
as far as
the plane ride from hell. That's a sad issue. That's something that nobody wants to say that really happened. Was McMahon and his wife on that plane? You know what?
And what about various stories Tony Atlas has shared on this program about destroying vaginas with toys?
You know what? First of all, why
Didn't
does
come
that
from me?
But why does that even have to be part of a show? Who really
You'd have to
cares?
ask Tony.
What a degradation to a female. Why? Why degrade another human being?
Well, he didn't mention the female by name.
Don't have to. It's a part of the anatomy. And why make a male look like a sick, frigged up predator? It doesn't make sense to me. Why degrade a human being? You know what?
What if it's true?
God forgive me for saying this, I guess, but it happened 20 years ago, let's say. 20 years ago, you were a whole different person. You were nuttier, you were crazier, there were more drugs, more booze, more sex, and rock and roll. You know what?
Well, should they say that about OJ?
Oh, please. You know what? I don't know. Maybe I just sit back. It can't be Flair.
I think his
Flair is let go. Flair is praying that Tony Khan calls him.
He's too old.
Well, Flair would be good for AEW as a manager.
That's just what I was going to say, not to wrestle.
No.
And there's only one more thing I can really think of, unless they can somehow metamorphosize someone from the grave.
Me.
You think he's got one more in him? He probably thinks he does.
Well, brother, let me tell you this. I'll bet you, brother, I can get in that ring, brother, and show him.
You know what?
I bet you, knowing his personality, and like I said, there's very few people I've ever seen better to the fans than him. But as far as the businessman in him goes,
oh yeah,
him seeing these guys getting a couple mil to go over and work Saudi Arabia.
Must be pissing him off.
When he was in his peak in WWF, his best year, he made 5. He must froth at the lips sometimes at night when he's in bed trying to go to sleep.
I can't blame him. I can't blame him.
Do you think the Hulkster at 68's got one? He looks good, but do you think he's got one left in him? Like you said, the cover, the 8x10 is different than the inside of the book.
I would say at 68, excuse me, you are literally putting your life on the line, literally. I don't care what kind of match they put you in.
6-man even?
Well, that's okay. So what's he going to do? Tag in, do this, give him the big
Couple
boot.
of big rights.
And give him the big boot.
No leg drop.
No
He's
leg
had
drop.
enough back surgeries.
Okay. So
big
couple
boot,
of
and then
bang, bang.
tag team partner
The
X
heel
gets the
starts
pin.
to beat him down, crawls over, tags, they go in, they do the hard work, tag out, Hogan makes a pin, building comes down. Okay.
You think a Hulkster retirement match would help draw at Mania?
He's done anyway. Why would he
The
need to
Hulkster?
retire?
Oh.
Why the hell does Hogan...
Well, he hasn't had an official retirement match.
What is this stuff? Everybody needs a retirement match.
Well, most people go out on some terms. It means
I
a lot
retired
if
from the city of Methuen. I didn't have a retirement party.
I don't think the people in the city of Methuen were worried about the what was your terminology for your job?
The assessor?
The assessor. I don't think that is as big as a Major League Baseball player or a
Now,
wrestler
see, there's
going
another
out.
thing you got me riled up early in the day.
About what?
Go
Being
out
an
on
assessor?
strike. No. This
Oh, the baseball players?
You know what? I only got one thing to say about that.
Yeah, you're shooting on the baseball players.
I don't really give a damn.
All right.
You know what? I'll never forget the day I brought my sons to a Red Sox game. We're in the front. Roger Clemens is walking by. I had some baseballs for the kids. I said, "Excuse me, sir, would you sign these baseballs for my son for $25 a piece?" You know,
He was on the field.
He was walking to go to the dugout, and I said to myself, "You know what? If it wasn't for assholes like me, and that's the only word I'm going to use, paying to see people like you wouldn't be walking on this field. And now they want to go on strike or lockdown because they're not getting enough money? Stop. Hold it. Let's back up and look at this picture. Doesn't make too much sense to me. They're getting paid a lot of money to do what they do. And thank God they're allowed to do what they're allowed to do. Because you know what? Baseball, football, basketball, hockey is no longer a sport, it's a business. And that's unfortunate because who pays the ticket in the end is you and me. It only goes up. And you know what, guys? You might get what you want in terms of raises, but when the fans can't afford to buy the tickets, you can earn all the money you want and you can play in an empty stadium.
Well, it's almost like WWE in the sense that it's the TV deals that are worth far more much than ticket sales at this point.
Well, that's what they're looking at.
Yeah.
They want a piece of it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I think you're getting plenty.
I can't believe Clemens said to you, I want $25 a ball. While he was on, and he was in uniform?
He's walking to go to the dugout. It's just, they start up, they got all this shit playing.
Yeah.
And I said to my son, John, and it was John and Dan, I said, give me the baseballs. This is Roger Clemens. Be great to have this on your ball, right? Excuse me, sir. Would you mind signing these for my sons? $25 a piece.
So you're happy you didn't get in the Hall of Fame? Yeah, well.
Does that say it all?
Wow.
Does that say it all?
Wow. All right. Well, wrestling fans, you heard it from John Cena Sr. himself. We've thrown several scenarios by you. I'd love to see what you guys think about what could be an Austin-level surprise. to boost WrestleMania 38 in Dallas, Texas?
I'm going to interrupt you.
Oh,
I like Taker. That should be the surprise.
Big Dave Batista
Nope.
coming out of retirement? No.
I think the world of Dave, look what he's done with his career. What an amazing human being. And I mean that. But I'll tell you what. How many people, and I think people would agree with me, how many people want to see Batista?
You know what? I think he's a big enough star in Hollywood that people would pop to see him work.
Because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
What about this, Johnny? What about if they were able to get the only McMahon that has never had singles action
Linda?
in WWE? Yeah. Linda and Becky Lynch, maybe. What do you think? Was it on this show that we talked about where someone said that she looked like kind of like Princess Diana in the face? I'm going to guess it wasn't this show. All right then, wrestling fans, give us your thoughts in the Premier Chat. More importantly, head on over to BostonWrestling.com. Get those VIP packages and tickets now. We're just a hair over 7 weeks away until we go back to the 80s, April the 16th at Memorial Hall in Melrose. You're not going to want to miss it. Wrestling fans, welcome back to Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Dan Marotti, John Cena Sr. It's WrestleMania season. It's back to the 80s season again. It's too cold up here in Boston for Vince to bring us Mania at Gillette Stadium. Forget about the rain out that they had in Tampa last year that Baby Marotti and I sat through for 2 nights in a row. We might be worried about a snow out. I don't know what they do.
You know what, Vince? Take a chance. Come to Patriot Stadium. Gamble a little bit.
Who the hell wants to go to Foxborough Stadium
Not me.
as a destination?
I don't. Not me.
That's what I mean. They look now at WrestleMania as like what they did with the Super Bowl. They want to bring it to destination cities: Orlando, Dallas, New Orleans.
No, I agree.
Tampa.
I agree.
I don't see Foxborough, Massachusetts on the list.
Although I will tell you this.
You like Patriots Place now?
Yeah, I've done a lot of weddings there.
Really?
And I will tell you, it's a complete change from what it used to be. The Dust Bowl and the stadium. Now it's a city within a city. Wonderful hotels, great restaurants, marvelous stores, and then you've got the stadium. It's very well done. So it's not like it was before. It is a destination point, and I can tell you...
For the locals, maybe. But I can't see someone out in Los Angeles saying, geez, I want to go to...
but I've seen cars there from New York, Connecticut.
Wahlburgers.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it would be, because if it is that type of an attraction, people will go.
Where the hell are people going to stay?
There's 5 hotels there.
And they draw about 75 to 80% of the fan bases from out of the
Let me tell you right
market.
now, if they keep going the way they're going,
Well,
those 5 hotels will be plenty.
They might be having it at the Garden if that's the case. But anyway, all right, wrestling fans, talking more about the current world of events in professional wrestling. AEW, Johnny, they may have lost the roads, but they're still making moves. Big Keith Lee, one of WWE's releases, heads on over. A big man in a company filled with a lot of guys that aren't exactly giants. We had Jay White from New Japan Pro Wrestling coming in for a stint. I don't know if that's a full-time deal, but he had been an Impact under the thumb of Impact Wrestling Director of Talent Relations, D'Lo Brown. You have Dan Housen, who I have spoken very highly of, that I still don't think you know who he is. The kind of the Count Chocula-looking villain. He does sports entertainment great. I think you'd love Dan Housen. I'd like to see you and Dan Housen go tit for tat, as a matter of fact. Is how highly I think of him. And we are hearing rumors now that, what the hell was his name in WWE? I can't remember it now. Buddy Murphy, that was aligned at the hip as part of Seth Rollins' boring Monday Night Messiah faction with him, Buddy Murphy, and the Authors of Pain. And now, there isn't much left of that grouping in WWE.
I watched the debut of both of those individuals.
Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And what did you think of Big Keith Lee?
Big man, strong man, lousy opponent.
You think he sold a little too much for a man a little smaller than him?
Let me tell you something. One punch would have been over. That was just not a good match.
You think it should have been a squash almost? To get him
Yeah,
over?
if you want to do it, yeah, that would have made more sense than to play this little game. I will tell you one thing that I was surprised at. He was pretty winded.
Well, maybe a little ring rust. It's been 90 days.
Yeah, but you know what? Even
And he's
90 days, you still stay in shape.
A little larger in the hips.
But still, he was breathing real heavy. So let's see how long he will last. And nothing against him. I was impressed. His size, his in-ring ability. But if there was a future there, I don't think it'd have been let go.
In WWE, you mean? Well, I think WWE, well, I think we know for a fact, they're looking to go younger for one. Keith, I believe, is closer to 40 than he is 30.
He looks good, though.
He does. He looks good. I think he has a lot left to contribute. Why WWE couldn't come up with something than Bearcat Lee for him on Raw, I don't know. I think I remember when he was the surprise entrant in the Royal Rumble in Houston in 2020. Granted, it was a diehard fan base, but Lesnar was certainly willing enough to respect him in the ring, and I think Lesnar probably looked at him as someone, this is maybe someone I can work with at some point.
He was formidable.
With credibility.
Believable. That's right. That's right. And I saw a White when they beat the guy up in front of the truck. That was a shock.
And
that was
a
like,
shock, but
no, it was like, okay.
It's just another tiny little guy.
So, proved nothing to me.
He looks like a lot of them. He's the same size as a lot of them. There was nothing about him that stood out.
Nothing.
Unlike Big Keith Lee.
If somebody said to me, these two guys are coming in, I'd say, Lee, I'm interested. This guy, he's just like the rest of them. Khan keeps promising bigger and better signings. Let's see. So far, he's a man of his word.
I'll tell you this, they continue to make news. They continue to make waves. He has the advantage that WWE hasn't, that when these talents that have been released by WWE show up, it's big news. Or in someone like Daniel Bryan or CM Punk's cases, free agents. Adam Cole, same thing. He wasn't released. He was a free agent. Kyle O'Reilly, free. However they come to the company, it's almost like WCW when it was at its peak. You had all these fresh talents coming in. You never knew who, when, why. And in WWE's case, you have to look at Cody Rhodes is almost like the Big Show, who was the first main eventer from WCW to jump ship during the Monday Night Wars from WCW to WWF, I guess is maybe the best analogy I could come up with off the top of my head. But, there is a salary cap. At some point, you can't spend forever. AEW doesn't have the television contracts that WWE does now. Obviously, I'm sure with the demographic they're drawing, the male demographic they hit, they're going to be looking for a big increase from TBS, TNT, into any other suitor that may go after them in 2023.
Look at what they just did with TBS, how they scored high that night.
Yeah.
Against some pretty powerful shows. What's that tell you?
Some people like a wrestling show without 5 women's matches, without 15 vignettes and skits in the back, that don't need 3 or 4 mindless women that act like they have no idea what they're talking about. Sticking the microphone in the face. What do you think about your match 2 nights later on Raw? There's some things about AEW I would change, but I think it's a much easier program to sit through than any of WWE's right now.
I enjoy AEW.
I thought NXT for a while was the best wrestling show of any of them on national TV, and then once they got rid of their core of talent, most of them went to AEW. Now it's just, it almost looks like a talk show or something. Not that it's designed like one, but I mean, it's got a whole different look, a whole different feel. It doesn't feel like NXT anymore. NXT was gritty. It was dark. It was for
Triple H.
It was for that adult male audience.
Triple H was in charge of that. Triple H made sure the product was what he wanted it to be. He had some great trainers and workers down there. It's all changing now. I believe it's Vince and Bruce Pritchard are in charge.
And Shawn.
And Shawn Michaels
is very hands-on the day of the TV.
So
but I tell you, finish your thought.
So look, it's changed. Besides, I always
and not
said
for the better.
No, I've always said this, and I'll say it again. NXT was nothing more than glorified indie wrestling with a lot of fancy sound, fireworks, and entrance. If I had that an indie show, I probably would sell out too. And the talent that you and I look for, we probably would have been at the same level.
Look at how many of them that have come from our events down there. I tell you this, though, who's looking like $1 million? The A champion, Carmelo Hayes, Christian Casanova.
I like that guy.
And you know, I don't know how many times I said to him, just to try and get bigger, get bigger, get bigger. Now that he's got bigger, it was the last piece of the puzzle missing for him.
Yeah, I worked several shows with that gentleman.
Even though he was a member of that uprising faction, certainly an impressive individual. I think if the fans knew his life story, I think they'd even be happier for the success he's found, whether they agree or disagree.
But he never gave up. That was the key.
No,
he never gave
up.
up.
Not to borrow a line from your son, but no.
Nope. And he believed in himself. And that's the key to this business. Key to this business.
Do you think he's going to be able to make that big of an impact on a main roster WWE brand due to his height?
No.
Because you can't, that's one thing you can't, well, unless there's something I don't know about. One thing you can't make bigger, you can't go to the gym and work out and get taller.
No. His size is against him. That's the only thing I can see.
And especially where WWE apparently wants to go bigger again.
Yep.
Height-wise.
They are. They're already starting. I can see him definitely as an AEW Impact wrestler. WWE, he's doing wonderful. It's like Tommaso Ciampa. Ciampa was on Raw. I'm so proud of Tommaso Ciampa where he is, and Todd Hansen. But I'm worried for both of them. So let's see what happens as we go forward, because it seems like when you make the jump from here to here, it's almost like the next step is the door. It just doesn't make sense.
And I tell you this, and you know, Tommaso Ciampa, a former protege of yours and an enemy of yours.
Yep.
Remember what happened on the loading dock with him and old JBL and Slick Wagner Brown.
Should have drunk the Kool-Aid.
When JBL was the Intercontinental Champion here in the MWF.
Yep.
But didn't Tommaso look kind of slight to you on Raw compared to some of the other talents?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did.
You know? And I don't think that helps, again, in a company that he's still in. I wish I was in the condition he was in.
He's got that fierce look, but he doesn't have that fierce body.
He's just not thick.
No. He's just not there.
And I don't think that helps the cause long term. Short term, is it going to put him in a mid-card feud with Ziggler on Raw? Sure. But what does that mean going forward? Do you put him on the main event show that they have on WWE Network? Does he sit in catering? Does he get released? Or do you keep him in NXT where he's best suited and would like to be?
I think you keep him where he's happy, NXT. I think the same thing. I don't know how long the Viking Raiders are going to live. I think
They may go back to Iceland on the ship.
I think they're
that's awful, too, because you know how much I think of Todd. But, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you know, especially tag teams, they don't like tag teams to begin with. I'll tell you this. I don't know if... yeah, it's all right. You know, I pitched an idea, and I asked him, you know, I think the partner was in either he was injured or the partner was injured or something.
He was injured for a while.
Why not use him more as a singles along the line of a Mick Foley? Because he's going to get more longevity as a singles. You know they're going to focus more on a singles than a tag team. I don't see them focusing on a forced Viking. I mean, you can see by his promos, it's not the heart of a lion. You know what I mean? Not to put the work down, but I mean, it's just what it is. He's kind of a sports entertaining Viking. And I don't know.
Those days are gone.
Sometimes you get put into positions that you have to kind of live with. And I mean, if he went out there like a Bruiser Brody type Viking or a Berzerker type Viking, okay, that would be different. But I think the comedic Viking,
right there. As soon as the comedy gets involved, you know that old saying from the comedic thing, hey folks, I'm going to be here all night. Not here, you're not.
Don't forget to tip the bartender.
Yeah. Well,
like with the Super Chats here during the live premieres. But could you see Todd as kind of a retro or a modern day version of someone like Mick? More of
but he's got to change.
Brawler, a little unorthodox.
Yeah, forget the Viking stuff.
No more.
Forget the
more
Viking.
Vikings.
That just
No
doesn't
more.
work anymore.
Done. Finito.
Trim the beard up a little bit. Trim the hair up a little bit. Come back as the next generation. Call him what do you want, but let him be that Berserk Foley, the guy that's screwy in the head, that'll do anything. That's where he belongs. That's who Todd Hansen is. Watched him work his way up, and this kid, another kid that never gave up, never quit.
He was in this TV studio every Sunday night for years working on promos.
We worked with him at MWF.
Then when I see those promos he does as the Viking Raider, and it's
please.
like, it's almost like, and it's not him, but it almost looks like to the naked eye, he's regressed. But it's just kind of a bland
It's scripted.
presentation.
Say it the way it's written.
Yeah.
And I think as a singles, he'd be great. Give him that. He's got the Foley look.
Yeah.
Might as well use it. Might as well use it.
The partner,
I'm sure. And you know
the
what?
partner's a little stale, I think.
I wouldn't even hesitate to partner him up with Foley for a while and then have him turn on Foley because he's the number one guy.
Oh, yeah, make almost like a manager or a mentor. to him. I see
Yeah,
what you mean.
that'd be great. That'd be great. This is what I mean. I don't understand writing. I don't understand the storylines. I just don't understand what's going on. There's so much potential they have, and it seems like there's only one priority, and that's cutting talent, making the budget look better, the bottom line look bigger.
He's done a very good job of that.
I'm telling you, if I were a businessman, and I am, I'm sitting here saying, if I were doing that with my company, there's only one reason I'm doing it.
Yeah.
It's on the block. It's not openly up
you
for sale.
reminded me of something. You reminded me of something. Well, anyway,
Go
keep
ahead.
going, keep going. Well, anyway, I just... you all right in there, Howard? Oh, all right. Well, you know, he was worried. He was talking, you were talking about Roger Clemens. You know our friend out in the front, Frenchie, sits at the computer. He actually attempted to become a Major League Baseball pitcher in France when he was younger. But the problem was the mound. It's 60 feet 6 inches. His arms are so long, it went 3/4 of the way to home plate. So the ball didn't come out right.
I don't know if that's got to do with what we're talking about, but anyway.
Well, we can only
right
hope,
along.
no matter what, that Viking Raider Ivar is gainfully employed for a long time.
I think the
I'd
world
just
of
like
him.
to see him used in a way where fans would enjoy seeing him and getting excited about him, having him sell more merchandise, getting those bigger residual checks, baby.
Yeah, well, you know what? It's only up to one man where you go, and that's Vince.
No.
And the writers, pretty soon they'll say, we have nothing else for you to do. They're set up for this big tag match.
Yes, well, it would have been last Saturday by the time the fans see this in the Kingdom of Jeddah. Do you think we'll have seen new SmackDown Tag Team Champions?
I do.
You really? You think they're going to go over the Usos?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. Interesting. I would think just the opposite, but
Then come back to the United States, unless, once again, we'll have a little interference there. And, you know, if they lose to the Usos over in the kingdom over there, get ready. It's either going to be singles or
they headed back to Iceland.
get the ice boat ready.
All right, wrestling fans, what do you think about these AEW signees? What do you think about the Viking Raiders and all the craziness that Johnny and I talk? If you're watching during the premiere, leave your thoughts in the premiere chat to the right. Otherwise, after the fact, in the description box below. Don't forget, we are just 50 nights away from the big one when we go back to the 80s at Memorial Hall. Saturday night, April the 16th. VIP packages and tickets are on sale now to a wrestling celebration decades in the making at bostonwrestling.com. Wrestling fans, welcome back. Dan Marotti along with the fabulous one himself, Mr. John Cena Sr. I know you're getting pumped. I know cases of Fabo Pop are coming in from coast to coast.
Hot sauce.
Hot sauce. I mean, back to the 80s. What a great way to get maybe a gift for a loved one for Easter the next day.
I might even have chocolate cigars.
Really? Well, what a great something maybe for the Easter Bunny to pop by and pick up a few of to drop off at kids' houses.
I had Tommy Nash made some for Father's Day. Perfect gold ashtray with a cigar with a Fabo wrapper on it. You
Really?
can't tell the difference between that and a real cigar.
You should have brought it down and put it on the set.
Next time I come down, I'll bring
Yeah.
it. That and a bottle of Fabo wine.
Now, what about these Fabo trading cards? Will those be available?
Oh, Only if we can find the young man, and I've reached
Oh, you
out.
don't even know him by name.
That's why I'm
Really?
reaching out to him through the program to see if he'll do a full set. I will be honest with you, and I do not pat myself on the back or blow my own horn, but
You're not Lanny Poffo.
I have.
Well, he's blowing his own horn.
Don't even go there. I have shown these cards, the 4 cards that I have, to many individuals at many shows, and they all want to know where they can buy them. And I'm a nobody, believe me. I'm just a little guy trying to make people happy and smile and make their days a little better. But I wish I could find this young man, and we could hopefully do a set.
If nothing else, maybe he'll come back on April 16th, and you can find him there.
I hope so, because I'm more than willing to do business with him. I have a show March 19th, and there will be a card set there.
Another card set. How
but
many card sets are you in?
Well, no, but it would be me along with all the other wrestlers. It's
I
kind of like
see.
a card
I see.
game.
I
Yep.
see.
So, I hope he comes the 16th, because I definitely am going to sit down and say, what's it going to take to produce a full set of these?
Well, or just multiples.
Yep, and the CNBC thing, that helped me. That's done.
NBC 10,
Yep,
I believe.
Yep, that helped me out. That
You're
was done.
everywhere. You're almost as out there as someone else with the last name.
I'll never be that famous.
You don't think so?
Tonight's the last episode. I can't wait.
Well, he came from certain loins. You know what they say about that. But anyway.
Peacemaker is a great show. It's the #1 stream program. I certainly hope they get not because of John, but I certainly hope they get a second season. They've earned it.
Howard said
good.
they did.
Great. Isn't it great? Have you seen the last episode yet? All right, I'll let you know. Tonight's it. But it should be very interesting. So, I take where I am and enjoy it. I had my run with WWE. Very thankful to Vince McMahon and my son for that, and Randy Orton. I wish it could have gone further with Orton's old man and myself. We'd have had to find this old man, that old man. We'd had some fun. Great human being. But it is what it is.
Who knows what's going to happen in 50 nights at Back to the 80s?
I'm
you two will
happy.
be in the same place at the same time yet again.
Well, we'll see.
You never know. Well, the Cowboys got a few years on you. It might be a little easier for you to subdue them at this point.
There's another man that you can look at the book. Don't sell the inside shot. He'd knock you on your ass in a minute.
Well, remember those conversations we had down in New Orleans at that little off the strip seafood restaurant when he talked about he never wanted to stop taking those bookings. He always wanted to keep on going.
He's a great man.
He's still going.
And there's no reason why you can't use that man in the ring. Just like the last one we did on November 13th, I think we missed the boat because Bushwhacker Luke was all set to
Disappointed.
He was all set to get in that ring. And he said to me, mate, I thought I was going to be wrestling tonight. Don't just sign on these pictures. And I said, well, that's up to the promoter. A little disappointed. And I was disappointed too because...
And I was disappointed because I had no idea. But
So I say we bring him back.
you want to see him again?
Oh, I think the fans loved him.
Maybe you two could tag.
You know, maybe it'd be me and Bushwhacker Luke. I got the match.
Well, tell us off the air.
No, we can do it on the air.
Why?
It'll never come to fruition.
Are you certain?
I'll tell you off the air.
All right. I don't know if you remember this one back at Soul Survivor 7 when Bushwhacker Luke teamed up with Bo Douglas to take on Brian Malonis and Rick Fuller for the MWF Tag Team titles. Do you remember that Luke and Bo were managed by the trio of Ox Baker, Quincy Rastani, and Reno Chastain?
God rest Ox Baker's soul. What a great guy. You know, I never realized the position that Baker was in. He was basically had nothing. He was going down to the food banks to get chicken for Thanksgiving, and
I think he kind of got bamboozled by
a young couple.
Yes.
Yeah, and they took advantage of him, and then he passed away. There's another human being that I learned a lot from.
Missed opportunity as far as what we could have done with him in the studio. If the internet was what it was when Ox was more vibrant and active, imagine the weekly series we could have had with him. One episode would go about 6.5 hours. Ox liked to talk.
He was a great guy.
He was, and he is missed. He added a lot to what we did. He was with us from what? My gosh, 2002 through 2012.
I enjoyed working with him.
Yeah, an evil man inside the squared circle, but a very funny one outside of the auspices of pro
Just
wrestling.
like Walter Killickowski, God rest his soul, a gentle giant.
Well, what do you think he appreciated working with the other two managers that night?
No.
No. All right,
You set him up.
Who?
You.
Well, I don't think you ever saw the Christmas special that the two of them had. They sang holiday favorites for the fans.
Who did?
Ox and Quincy. You talk about sports entertainment at its finest. But nonetheless, we talk about creative ideas, creativity, about war, Viking Raider Ivar before the break. What about Kurt Angle, Johnny? Apparently on his podcast, he discussed a 3-week idea that WWE had for him, headed into the Kingdom of Jeddah at Elimination Chamber, and it was scrapped. Disappointing to some, maybe. Would you have liked to have seen Kurt come back for a short stint over a few weeks like that?
Yes. Yes. I think Kurt Angle has a lot to offer this business. I think it's unfortunate. There again, he got caught up in a situation. He's done a tremendous, tremendous job putting his life back together, just like Jake Roberts. Kurt understands the business, enjoys the business. It would have been something new and different for the fans, but that doesn't seem to go.
I don't know if new and different is the right way to put it for a guy that's been around since the Attitude Era. But
Yeah, but you haven't seen him.
now, do you think maybe that would have included maybe a spot in Elimination Chamber itself, or a non-wrestling role? Or what do you think? What would you have done with Kurt for 3 weeks if you had the chance?
I'd have made him work.
You would have what?
I'd have made him work.
You would have put him in the chamber.
I'd have made him work because he's no good to me as a manager. The thing that people want is Angle walking down so they can go, Kurt sucks
You
it up.
suck.
Yeah, yep,
You
right.
suck.
Yep.
Da,
They
da.
like that. He gets in the ring. They like to do that. And then he shows his expertise as a professional wrestler. Whether he wins or loses, he draws money.
I still think it's a shame that his storyline son, Jason Jordan, has been unable to recoup from his neck injury. Because he was a guy that I thought at this point, especially now, 4 or so years after the fact, had WrestleMania main eventer written all over him with his amateur background, his personality, his look. He was only getting better by the week. They were starting to push him when they were putting him in that program with Rollins and Ambrose. And I don't know, probably we'll never see him in the squared circle again. He has a great position. I believe he's the head producer now backstage. So he's, at least he has a nice position within the company. They didn't cast him aside. But it would have been interesting to see Kurt for those few weeks to do. I'd like to see someone like that in short spurts. They don't need to be on
That's
TV
what's good for you.
52 weeks
Right.
a year.
Thank you. Don't shove them down my throat every day.
Yeah.
3 spurts, great, nice. Will I see you again? Maybe Christmas.
You look forward to seeing them.
That's
the next
exactly
time,
right.
As
You know
opposed
what?
to saying, "Oh,
Say what
he's
you want
on
about
again
Cena.
next week."
Say what you want about him. When he comes back, the roof comes off the
Absolutely, because now,
Same deal with
now
The Rock and
it's-
Austin.
It's much different now than it was. But just go back to up until the past 3 or 4 years, when he would come back in moderation for those 3 or 4 months, or however long in between Hollywood stints, the people were very, very excited and happy to see him. It was when he was on TV 52
24/7.
weeks a year in multiple segments a show that the fans grew tired of maybe not the person, they grew tired of the presentation.
But
That's the way to put it to
I
me.
agree. But there again, who else would you have to carry the show?
Good point, too. And what does that say about the creativity that they have behind them? But anyway, different story for a different time. Also climaxing in the Kingdom were, as of now, the final appearances of, I don't know if they climaxed together, but Bill Goldberg and Lita. You think we'll see more of them? Would you like to see more of them? I believe a combined age of 100.
Lita can't be 50. How old is Edge?
No, Goldberg's 46.
And Lita's got to be
46. No, Goldberg's 54 and she's 46.
46. I'll say this. If Amy Dumas, Lita, and I believe she does still have what it takes.
We'll have to wait and see the match.
Right. But I think she has a lot to bring to the table. And I mean this because she was great at what she did. She could be used in the way they should use talent like her to help the other female wrestlers to understand better what they're doing and how to do it. Amy brings a lot to the table, used correctly. That's the key word here for everybody they bring back. Everybody they bring back. Will she sell a lot of tickets? I don't know how well it went the last time when she made her first appearance in the Women's Royal Rumble. But then there were a lot of the Women's Royal Rumble that I questioned. But I think Lita will always be a star. I really mean this.
I'd rather see her than the Bellas.
Oh, anytime. Anytime. But you can't compare
And Brandy Rhodes.
You can't compare her to the Bellas because Lita is a product that's unique unto herself. She brings that special little bit of girlish evilness to the ring. I love her. She's just got it down.
But she broke into the business the old school way. Basically almost living on the streets down in Mexico, trying to...
That's right. That's what she said. That's
Yeah.
exactly
and
right.
I have a lot of respect for her.
I do,
But
and
I just think a 46-year-old woman, again, not to sound sexist or whatnot, but a woman's body, it's different than a man's. You know what I mean?
Wait a minute. See, here you go again. You're all excited here and upset.
Right.
You're talking about a 46-year-old woman, but yeah, you say, well, he's a 48-year-old guy. He could probably do
Well,
another
he's probably on the gas.
Well,
I hope she isn't.
You know, Dan.
Well, I can only call a spade a spade.
But you're not, because you know what?
How am I not?
You got to look at it this way. The way that she takes care of her body,
Yeah.
the way that she works out, she probably has the same drive and wrestling ability as this gentleman or men that you are giving so much credibility to.
I'll tell you this, another reason why I think my idea about an all-women show would work is that they could have maybe a specially designed ring for them, where it's not as much as impactful on their bodies as it is a 6'2", 250-pound man.
Are you trying to say that these women can't do what these men do?
I
I
they
say
get
to you,
injured
they
a
can
lot
do it
quick.
better. Some of these women can do it better.
Okay, that's why Sasha Banks is injured 3 or 4
LuFisto up in
times
Canada,
a
ever
year.
work a show with her?
No.
Okay, I have. When the Dudley boys put her through a friggin' table, when she smashed up to the ring, this lady will...
I'm talking about someone that's going to be on the road working under normal times, 150 shots a year.
You ought to book her sometime down here. She'll show you what women's wrestling's all about.
Ever work?
I will say to you that Lita will bring a lot to the table. Age is only a number. It's a number.
But when it's a high number...
It isn't high. Today's 40s is early 20s.
I'm not saying anything about her looks. I'm talking about where her athleticism lies.
I think she still has
after
it.
a broken neck at the age of 46.
Okay, but once again, I say to you, the same thing I said about Austin and some of these other talents. If you use them the right way, Austin comes back for the factor that you need him, do a quick squash and it's over. You take people like Lita, you bring her into the fold, realizing full well what's happened, you make it easy, but you use her to garner, help, and bring up these women to the point where they should be. She has a lot of secrets, just like Chris Stratus. Well,
And Trish,
you know, whatever she did in her life, she did. You know, I have nothing bad to say about her.
No, she's
Even
very
if-
nice, very nice human being.
You know, I mean, when John picked up her and Edge and body slammed them both, that took a lot. And she
Good
did
spot,
it. She
too.
took
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
She
yeah.
took it. I've seen her go out of that ring slammed up against that guardrail better than any guy in the business. So you know what? Here's what I say. Let's wait and see.
I think it would help only give these ladies longevity if they were to do that. One man's opinion.
Well taken.
What about Billy Goldberg? Is he done? Or are we going to hear that boom, 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 boom?
And the smoke coming out of his mouth.
Yep. Have we seen the smoke for the last time after Jeddah?
I said it earlier in another cast that we did. I'll make it very clear. I say this at every time I sit here with you.
You wouldn't want to see him in a dark alley. We know,
Right.
we know. But have we seen the end of Billy Goldberg?
I hope so. Because they misused him. But he's doing what they want him to do, put people over, which is not good. I still say if they want to take and bring his son in, make a tag team.
I think his son, I don't even think he's old enough to drive.
Well, he's worked
You
well.
want to bring him in?
Why not? To bring 14-year-old kids in the ring.
Who? Who was the 14-year-old?
Oh, Christ, I'm only joking with you.
All right.
But I'm being facetious. But you know what? The fact of the matter is, here's a guy that has a draw. I think people are tired of the draw because when you just go online and read some of the comments, some are very derogatory to a man that has a lot of talent, to a man who's very prestigious. I think that's wrong. You're bringing this individual into an environment that he doesn't belong. And fans are cruel people, very cruel. And my whole thing is Goldberg's proved everything. You know, some of these guys in the business will say, Austin, Cena, Rock, Heartbreak Kid, what else do I have to do? Where else can I go? I've done it all in this business. So I think Goldberg should say, what else do I have to do? I've done it all in this business. The way he does business from now on is MWF appearance, and make his money that way.
Will Khan go after him, do you think, as a free agent?
No, I don't think so.
You don't think Tony Khan would have an interest in Billy Goldberg?
Nope. I'll tell you right now, if I were a promoter with Khan's money, that would be the last person I'd want to chase.
Really?
Well, it's just it's not good for me. What am I going to use him for? Where am I going to put him?
Licensing, merchandising.
How much merchandise has he sold?
I don't have numbers on it at his peak, but I mean,
No.
someone certainly.
Forget his peak. Now, how many asses?
I should say compared to his peak. Is
There
how
you
I
go.
should have
There
worded
you
it.
go.
But I think he, almost like someone like a Christian or a Big Show or a Mark Henry. What have they really added to AEW?
But they're not wrestling. They're basically all backstage workers. The majority of what they do is backstage.
Well, no, Christian was.
But
brought
when'd you
into
see?
work.
When's the last time
He's
you saw
more
Mark
turned
Henry in
into
the
more
ring?
of a manager. I don't think Mark Henry's wrestled there at all.
Okay. Christian's a manager capability now. Big Show comes out for that wow factor once in a while. Smart move.
Well, and you couldn't do the same with Goldberg?
I don't think, Goldberg is like Brock Lesnar. The one thing I respect about Brock Lesnar, and I respect Brock Lesnar, he's a great businessman. His quote right now is, I'm having a lot of fun doing what I'm doing. And that makes sense for Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar or Goldberg?
Lesnar.
Oh, Lesnar, okay.
And so if it's all about the ka-ching, Billy Goldberg will be there as a business. I mean, how do you say no to business? What do you have to sell but you? So if somebody says, I want you to come in, you make 4 appearances a year, once every 3 months.
I think if I'm TBS or TNT, I like the idea of bringing him back into the family. A wholesome guy.
But-
I mean, he wouldn't have the baggage that a Flair would if you brought him in.
But the whole thing-
there would be internet backlash if they brought him in.
The whole thing is this. You're going to bring him in to lose.
Who says he has to lose every time? They have their own version of War Games. They could put him in a match like that, where he doesn't have to be involved in the pinfall or the decision.
And I'll go with you. All right, I'll go with you. If you're going to bring Goldberg in and use him correctly, and not put him in these wicked, stupid storylines like he's in now, I'm sorry. You know what? I still have respect for the man. And I may joke about him, call him Oldberg or whatever. But you know what? There is a thing in this business called respect. And he's earned it. Earned it. Give it to him.
All right, wrestling fans, you heard it from John Cena Sr. himself, running out of time rapidly on this show. Any thoughts about anything we talked about, anything we didn't talk about? Leave your thoughts in the premiere chat if you're watching Friday nights, or in the description box below. Don't forget, we're just 50 nights away, 50, from back to the 80s at Memorial Hall, Melrose, Massachusetts. Saturday night, April the 16th, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Axe and Smash Demolition, WWE Hall of Famers, Tito, Santana, and Cowboy Bob Orton, the Wild Berzerker, and more. We'll have another announcement Monday night on Raw. VIP packages and tickets on sale now. BostonWrestling.com. For the fabulous one himself, the original HBK, the Hey Brother Kid, John Cena Sr., I'm Dan Marotti. We'll see you next Friday night on Wrestling Insider's Fabulous Fridays. Until then, you and yours, be well, be healthy. Good night from Boston. Take it away, Phil.
Hi, this is Phil DeCesare. Thank you for enjoying tonight's Wrestling Insiders. Get early full-screen ad-free access to all our weeknight Wrestling Insider episodes while helping keep wrestling legends working by joining the Boston Wrestling Patreon family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. You can directly help us bring you more great historical wrestling content 7 days a week to enjoy for years to come.